Once upon a time in this country, you could travel anywhere
Yes.
at night.
Yes, of course.
I remember those days. We travel at night.
Yes.
But today, even when you have the will to travel, there is always this fear behind to say, come, anything could happen. And the big question on the minds of many is, how did we get here?
Well, Tekla, you are very right. Your observations are right on point. But do not also be deceived that we have always had it rosy. That's not correct.
Serving under the administration of the late President Buhari, did it come as a regret?
No, not at all.
A lot of people were very expectant of maybe impact, especially as he was a general.
Correct.
And then surrounded by his own people, that somehow this insecurity will be mitigated. But it would seem there was an upsurge during his era.
Anybody who thinks that Nigeria's insecurity is going to have an essentially military solution, the person is mistaken.
Let's get clarity to this question.
Yes.
Now, is it true that repentant Boko Haram
I would have been surprised if you didn't ask that question.
and all of that have been infiltrated or have been integrated into the military? You were a theater command leader.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
The Operation Lafia Dole.
Yeah.
In your experience, would you say there is some kind of foreign help as to why this insurgency has stayed this long?
Okay.
Has festered this long?
Let me say this. There is no border that insulates criminals, meaning that criminals have no respect for boundaries, international or local.
Is it a coincidence that most of the states that are targeted, that you have the cesspool of insecurity, have underneath them mineral resources?
Okay, so recall that I said that the challenge is nuanced. Now, it is almost impossible to, under this kind of platform that we have, to begin to disaggregate them, begin to entangle them. The whole essence of mentioning that they are nuanced is to tell you that they are much more, it requires much more attention. So what in a nutshell I will tell you is that, yes, there are different motivations for different criminal activities. If you want to control, including the mineral you are talking about, the mineral, of course, will help to perpetrate, the criminal activities. We help to, recall that I talked about those who are sponsored. They're sponsored. If somebody is sponsoring a criminal, meaning that he's putting resources. Where does he recoup that resource? There are different areas. Why do people go to steal? You steal for a purpose. Why do people buy gun for thieves? There's a purpose. So it's not impossible that the mineral they also want to get is because they want to control it so that they can recoup whatever has been expended. But that's not to say that this is the situation. That's not what I've said. And then it's also possible, like many have also adduced the case of Zamfara, that Zamfara is made ungovernable because there is a lot of extraction of solid minerals, all right, that goes into private hands, and so for as long as the instability persists, then it favors them. How about this kind of argument? The same thing for the Niger Delta, why many people believe that they can't.
Plateau State.
And then of course Nasarawa, and so on and so forth. So that even beyond the mineral, you also have the issue of grazing areas. Why is it that the Benue belt, there's always insecurity. Many people believe that there's, um, land grabbing and displacement, or because you want to have places where you can have a foothold so that you can expand. So there are different motivations. That's why I said it is nuanced.
The allegation that
Yes.
the corruption in the military is also diluting so many
Okay.
issues and factors and areas in the military. Is it true?
Very good. So we make some of these allegations as if the military. No, hold it. Tackle it. We make these allegations as if the military is a different world of its own. The military is a creation of the law. The management of the military is under the law. So if the institutions of checks and balances are faulty, why should the military be held responsible? In the same way, when we talk about accountability is not just only for the military. Accountability is for everyone. This is the reason why there are frameworks that you put in place, because human beings, the way we are, anything is possible. So this is why you have certain provisions being made for these checks and balances, for accountability. So it is an assumption that there is corruption in the military. Yes, it's an assumption. That is an assumption, does not mean that it does not exist. Get it right. But then you can't just mount it without proving it.
Please school us a
Yes.
bit. How does it work? I mean, you're looking at the total infrastructure when it comes to welfare,
Yes.
distribution to the men on the field.
Correct.
Because what we hear is that there's some level of stifling happening in the distribution chain. So when people are in that state of hunger and all kinds of challenges, don't you think the temptation is
Okay.
also rife
So
for them to
now
deviate from the course?
So now, the information at my table did not tell me that the corruption in the military or that any soldiers' allowances were stifled. No, that's not correct. That's not correct. Has any soldier told you that his entitlements have not been paid to him?
We've seen videos in the past. We've seen videos in the past where soldiers will even come and say they've not eaten for 2-3 days.
Impressions, if like, are different. Impressions that are given are different from realities. Let me tell you, as at the time I was serving as Chief of Defense Staff, ration cash allowance, what we call RCA, ration cash allowance, was 1,000 naira per day for soldier. So I don't know what it is today, even though we canvass that it should be 2,500 naira per day. But as at the time before I left, it was 1,000 naira per day, which is being released. Meaning that for every soldier in the front line, he is entitled to, the commander is entitled to 1,000 naira to feed him for that day. You get it? He's entitled to feed him with 1,000 naira a day. So what commanders do, of course, for a unit, they aggregate it and use it to buy food, and then they cook, and then they feed people. Today, I don't know what it is. We had, as at the time, we had say, look, at the basic minimum, let it be 2,500 to feed a soldier for one day. Then allowance, which is operational allowance, was 1,500 naira per day. Meaning that at the end of the month, a soldier who is in the front line should be able to earn 45,000 naira. And it's paid to him. Has there been any soldier who told you that he has not gotten?
Once upon a time in the country, when you look at the order of priority in terms of budgeting, security wasn't first on the list.
Correct.
It was education, agriculture, and all of that.
Correct.
But in the last decade, or in the last few decades, security has been number one.
Correct.
And some have alleged that it's deliberate because some people are profiting from this whole insecurity. What would be your position in that regard?
Well, I don't know what will make them to come to that conclusion. I have said in the course of our interaction that there has been a governance deficit, and so things at various critical junctures along our evolutionary paths we have not done. So that had now made insecurity to fester. Those who believe that people are profiting, you should come with the facts. The reality is that, do we have insecurity? We have insecurity. Is it impossible to crush? It's not impossible to crush. Those funds that you have talked about now, all right? I mentioned the issue of RCA, I mentioned the issue of ops allowance. That has nothing to do with ammunition. That has nothing to do with maintenance of vehicle. That has nothing to do with petroleum, oil, and lubricants. If we mention it. So at the end of the day, what you see as running cost is so huge. So that you are paying salary or that you are paying allowances, does that mean now that somebody want to, keep himself in harm's way because he's benefiting that salary? Does that make sense? Doesn't make sense. Today in Nigeria, we have, decent people just like you. Decent people. But then the perception many people have is that Nigerians are criminals. Are you a criminal? That they have such perception. Does that mean that we no longer have decent people in Nigeria?
Charles Taylor was one figure that was, each time you talk about that ECOMOG mission, Charles Taylor was one person that featured prominently in the conversations. And to think that that man who inflicted that much of what he did, was now being sheltered in Nigeria, how did that make you feel?
No, well, usually wars generally do not end in the battlefield. Wars must always end on the dialogue table. And so to that extent, you cannot fault whatever plan that the then government of Nigeria made to first shelter him, because what's more important is peace. First and foremost, create the conditions for peace to return. Thereafter, questions can be asked. And I think that with benefit of hindsight, that the right questions were asked, and Chancellor actually went to prison.
The soldiers that fought those wars and the crop of soldiers we have today, can you give me or give us, a sense of the similarities and differences?
Well, there is no
call to duty.
Yes,
in terms of call to duty.
Of course, they remain
willingness to.
No, so a soldier remains a soldier any day, resilient, patriotic. Those days and even now remains the same, and the training, currently is even better. The exposure is even better. But sometimes many people mistaking the challenge that we had in Liberia and Sierra Leone, they assume that those challenges remain the same like we have currently. The two threats are completely different.
In recent times, especially in this dispensation, we've had attempts at coup. The word is so heavy in my mouth that saying it is heavy. What do you think is responsible for this? What are these people thinking, that we will go back to military regime or?
Okay, so now I'm glad that you asked that question, which should be concerning to not just those in the military, but of course to the political class.
Was it for lack of time that the family didn't expand beyond two kids?
So again, that's also part of the scars, personal scars.
Any plans to go into politics?
Leave that for me to decide.
First and foremost, dreamed it and you achieved it.
Listen.
In the course of our conversation, that was established. So are you not dreaming it already?
There are many things I've dreamed. Have I told you all? I've told you that every man is a political animal. That is the point.
Do you have plans to become the governor of Delta State?
Governor of Delta State. Why will I want to be governor of Delta State when there's already a governor?
No, not now. Plans. It mustn't be now. Are there
No.
plans?
Let's leave that until I
You know,
join.
when
I
people
join.
say let's leave that, it means there's something cooking.
Oh, you see now. So you have not joined them. You have joined. You have joined those. You have joined those who say whatever. No. That's
So no plans for.
I don't think there's any plan like that.
This is the first time I'm hearing you stutter in answering a question.
Stutter. No, because you have joined them now in assuming so many things. Even now that I'm young, when people see me say you are looking too young, I say okay, so I should cry because I'm looking young. Do you understand? So
The Delta spirit is coming out.